She slammed the paper on my front door at 6:03 a.m. Big red letters screamed across the page. Final hoe notice, eviction in 48 hours. I stood there barefoot, coffee still in my hand, staring at it like I was reading a bad dream. Have no authority to do this, I said, looking straight at her. Karen didn't blink. She stood at the end of my driveway, arms crossed like a general about to launch an attack. Her tiny dog yapped from inside her purse, but she never flinched. This isn't your land, she snapped, and we don't want your kind here. I didn't even ask what she meant by my kind. I knew what she meant. She'd been trying to push me out for months. Fake letters, noise complaints, even cutting my power line once and claiming it was routine maintenance. The real twist? I built this house myself, brick by brick. After I came home from the war, I kept calm, but my hands clenched behind my back. She didn't know who I really was. She didn't know about the documents, the hidden cameras, or the law firm already watching everything. You've got 48 hours, she repeated, smirking, or I'll bring the sheriff myself. I smiled, just a little. Please do. She didn't know. I am the sheriff. I didn't go to work that morning. Instead, I sat in my truck, parked across the street, engine off, eyes locked on her porch. She was on the phone, pacing, waving her hands like she was directing traffic, probably calling the same private enforcement team she used last time. A bunch of rent-a-cops in fake uniforms who thought intimidation worked on people like me. My phone buzzed. Detective Hill, I answered. She's trying it again, I said before he even spoke. She filed a complaint, says you threatened her. With a weapon, he replied. I laughed under my breath. Did she mention it was a coffee mug? He sighed. I'll file it, but you're good. Cameras caught everything. I turned, looked at the dash cam footage playing back on my tablet. Clear as day, me standing there, calm. Her shoving the notice into my chest. Her saying, "This neighborhood doesn't need you." By noon, a tow truck rolled up my driveway. Karen was standing there, arms crossed, smiling. Your truck is parked over the line, she said. That's private property, I answered. She waved a printed paper. Not anymore. HOA approved new lines. You're trespassing now. And just like that, they started hooking up my vehicle. My daughter watched from the window, 7 years old, clutching the stuffed bear her mom gave her before she passed. She whispered, Dad, are we gonna lose our house? That broke me in a way the battlefield never did. Not because I was afraid, but because she was. And that's when I realized this wasn't about me anymore. It was about them. All the people Karen had bullied, all the families she had scared out of this street. I walked back outside and said just loud enough for her to hear, You're done. She laughed. Oh, really? And what are you gonna do? I reached into the mailbox and pulled out a brown envelope, sealed, signed, time-stamped. It wasn't just proof of ownership. It was the final court order, the one that stripped her of all HOA authority. But I didn't show her. Not yet. Let her hang herself a little longer. The tow truck driver hesitated when I stepped in front of the truck. Sir, she said, this was approved. Don't move another inch, I said, calm but firm. You're about to impound a vehicle from a sitting sheriff on private property with cameras on every corner. His face went pale. Karen's smile vanished. I have the paperwork, she shouted. I nodded. So do I. I handed the driver a copy of the court injunction. His eyes scanned it, lips moving slowly as he read. This says she's banned from acting in any HOA capacity, he mumbled. She forged documents, I said, staring directly at her. Filed false complaints, lied to law enforcement, trespassed, and that's just this month. Karen took a step back. You're bluffing. I reached into the envelope and held up the flash drive. You remember? Those security cameras you said were against HOA rules? Yeah. Turns out they caught everything. You threatening kids, harassing mail carriers, spray painting warnings on my fence. Her jaw tightened. No one's gonna believe you. I pulled out my phone and tapped a button. A large TV screen flickered on inside my garage window. The footage began to play. Full color, full audio. Karen 2 nights ago sneaking into my backyard with a bolt cutter and a fake violation notice. Her voice echoed across the street. This house is going to be empty soon, one way or another. Neighbors started stepping out onto their porches, one by one. Hey, that's my backyard, someone shouted. Wait, was that her in my driveway too? Karen turned in a slow circle. She was surrounded. Then came the sound we all heard before but never quite believed. Siren. Real one this time. 2 cruisers. No lights, just presence. Deputy Clarkson stepped out. He looked at Karen, then at me. We got your call, he said. Everything ready? I handed him the flash drive. He looked at Karen. You're being charged with impersonating an HOA officer, trespassing, filing a false police report, and harassment. Karen laughed. You're arresting me? Do you have any idea who I am? He smiled. Not really. But we sure know what you've done. As they walked her to the car, she screamed, This isn't over. But it was, or so I thought. It should have ended there. Karen was taken away. Her so-called authority exposed in front of the whole street. Neighbors started knocking on my door, thanking me. Some even cried. Turns out I wasn't the only one she'd threatened to evict. We all thought the nightmare was over, but something wasn't right. 2 days later, I got a certified letter. No return address, just a legal seal. Inside was a new complaint, filed in a different court, different state. Karen had transferred the HOA's management rights to a shell company, a corporation based in Nevada in her brother's name. They were suing me again and for violating private community guidelines. I stared at the paper, stunned. Same accusations, different logo. She was still pulling the strings from behind a legal wall. But this time, she made a mistake. She sent it to Sheriff Marcus L. Hayes. That's not just my job title. That's my federal ID. You don't file fake property lawsuits against a federally registered officer without leaving a digital trail. I contacted Special Agent Brooks, a quiet guy who owed me a favor. I explained everything. Sent him the new documents, the transfer records, the HOA fake company name. He went quiet for 10 seconds, then said, You're not the only one. We've been building a case. A case? He continued. We believe Karen's part of a larger scam. Nationwide HOA fraud, fake violations, shell companies, targeting veterans, immigrants, widows, selling foreclosed homes at profit. We just didn't have someone with rank to help trigger the warrant. My hands were shaking now, not with fear, with purpose. They needed me to testify, not just for my case, for hundreds. That's when I knew. This wasn't a personal fight anymore. This was war, and this time, I wasn't just fighting for my home. I was fighting for everyone she ever silenced.